Welcome to the Trailblazer Talks podcast. I'm your host, Courtney Hope Wilson. The heart behind this podcast is to encourage and equip you to discover your God-given purpose by sharing talks with people blazing trails right where they are. Each week, you'll hear from me and different guests on the show to talk about life, purpose, God, leadership, and a whole lot in between. I love having conversations with people, and I'm excited to get to bring you into those. My hope is that you'll grow and become poised for purpose. I hope each week that you'll feel more equipped to be a trailblazer right where you are. So let's get into this week's episode. Hey guys, welcome to the final episode of season 2. I'm excited for this season to wrap up and get prepared for the next season. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for your constant support this season, for tuning in, for listening. I love that we've gotten to have so many amazing guests this season, and there's just been so much wisdom poured out in this season of the podcast. So I'm super grateful for the listeners. I'm super grateful for the guests. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for all of you who have tuned in, who have supported the podcast, who have helped it grow this season. And season 3 will be back towards the end of August or early September. So stay tuned for that. It just works better to do the podcast in seasons, just with being able to get the right guest on the show and being able to record and all of that, and also to have some rest in between. So thank you guys for your support and for constantly showing up and supporting the show. It truly means the world to me. So today, to kind of wrap up season 2 of the podcast, I wanted to talk about the name of the podcast, Trailblazer Talks, and more importantly, just what it means to really be a trailblazer, and just to encourage you right where you are in this season. No matter where you are, no matter what your goals or your dreams are, or whatever it is that you're facing currently, I figured we could all just use some encouragement as we wrap up season 2. So I wanted to talk a little bit about just vision and what it really means to be a trailblazer, and kind of what my hope is to help you guys with. And this was something that I posted recently on Instagram as well, and have talked a little bit about if you follow me over there on Instagram. The biggest goal that I have with this show is really just always being real and authentic, and making sure that the show is equipping you to be all that God created you for, and just speaking truth into your life. And it's always my goal to help you own your today, to own right where you are, and to work towards your dreams without that hustle or without looking at timelines that culture often teaches us. And rather than focusing on that, my goal is to help you stay in submission to God and abide in Him. And it's also my goal to help you with trusting Him and just being free from the lies that maybe hold you back in life. Because I want to see you guys living freely and radically in all that God called you to be. And I want to see you stepping out of the status quo and blazing your own God-given trail. And trailblazers aren't just the people that you see with a platform. They're not just the people that win awards or win gold medals or anything like that. Trailblazers are actually people who choose to go against the norm, to go against the culture, and forge the path that God has for each of us, and not bowing to comparison or jealousy, but rising to the occasion in which God has equipped each of us uniquely for the call He has on our life. You see, a trailblazer is usually not the top seen person. It's usually not somebody who's getting all the attention, because being a trailblazer means you're gonna get in kind of the nitty gritty details. You're gonna get in those hard moments. You're gonna be forging your own path. You're gonna be blazing your own trail. And sometimes that can be lonely. Sometimes it can be hard. But I believe that we are all called to be trailblazers in some form or fashion in our life. And trailblazing, while that seems hard, it's also super rewarding to know that you are going first, and you are forging the path that God has for you, and you are making a difference in helping others and showing them that they can also take that same path that you have taken, and that you are kind of leading the way in that. And it doesn't mean that you're always launching some big new product, or you are starting a company, or it could be being a mom or a dad, or maybe it's starting something small. Maybe you have a dream to coach a little league team or coach something with your kids, or maybe it's going for that promotion at work and bringing new ideas to the table. Or maybe it's that you want to start a farm or have a hobby farm or something like that, or you have a desire to see things done a better way. I think oftentimes we confuse being a trailblazer that, oh, well, that's not for me because I don't have any new ideas or I don't have anything fresh to bring to the table. But I would challenge you with, that's a lie. There are always new things that you can bring to the table. There are always new ideas, and there's constantly ways that we are seeing how things can be done in a better way. I know that people talk all the time of, oh, if I was in charge, I would do it this way, or if I could change this, I would do it that way. And that's how most things have come to be in our world, is someone saw something and how it was being done, and they saw a way to improve it, or they saw a way it could be done differently, or they learned their own lessons and they want to teach others how to do it a better way. And so that's truly what I think being a trailblazer is. And that's what my hope through this podcast is to equip and encourage you to be a trailblazer right where you are. Whatever dream you have on your heart, whatever it is that you feel that you can make a difference with, we all are called to make a difference, no matter what our job is, what our walk of life is, what our career looks like or doesn't look like. We can all make a difference in the sphere of influence that we've been given, whether it's with our families, our friends, our coworkers, wherever you've been placed, you can make a difference, and you're impacting people more than you realize. And so that's really my hope, and I hope that this season has kind of helped you with that already, and I hope that future seasons continue to help you with that. But that's truly the heart and goal of this show, is to, one, showcase other people's stories who have already been blazing trails and show you that it is possible no matter what walk of life you are in or come from. And then also just equip and encourage you right where you are in the season that you're in as well, by sharing conversations or just episodes that talk about just real life stuff, because life is not the way we see it on social media or Instagram, and we go through hard days, we go through hard things, and we all have different struggles. And my hope is to meet you in those struggles, to equip you where you are in the dreams that you have, the things that you want to accomplish in life, and knowing that you can make a difference. There's no dream or call that is too big or too small, and reminding you that we all have a seat at the table. We all have a purpose, and nobody is excluded, and you don't have to shrink back or shy away from doing exactly what God has called you to do, because you each have your own path, and we just have to trust His plan and outcome, and we just have to show up for whatever it is that He has called you individually to. And my hope is to see people healthy and full of life and no longer trapped by those lies of society. And my hope is to help you become all that God created you to be. And so I guess this episode really is just kind of a cheerleading moment. It's a shorter episode, but just to wrap up season 2, it's just kind of to cheer you on in whatever it is that you're doing currently, and to remind you that you're doing a great job. You may not think that you are, you may be too hard on yourself, but I would encourage you to give yourself grace and to just keep going through the trial, through the fire. Just keep fighting and persevering, and remember that God has you. Whatever it is that you're facing, just never forget that you have purpose right where you are, and you're making an impact more than you realize. I always love to look at the verse in Genesis. It's Genesis 50:20, and it says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." And whenever I think of that verse, I think that we can all use encouragement, because it's been a hard year and a half, you guys. It's been difficult. There's constant tension. There's constant divisiveness online, and it can just feel exhausting at times that we're constantly having to keep up. We're constantly having to perform, to produce, to put out content, to attend to our families, to accomplish whatever it is. And I just want to remind you to trust the process and trust the timing that God has for your life. You are not behind. You will get there whenever God plans for you to get there, and you are exactly right where you need to be. I know that at times it can feel like we're behind because we're constantly seeing where everyone else is in life, and we're constantly seeing the accomplishments they have, because majority of the time that's all we post online is our accomplishments, or how productive we're being, or how good we're doing at this thing, or look at this big new thing I'm doing. And it makes some of us feel at times that, oh, well, so-and-so's already accomplished that, so why should I even try? Or I've been trying to do this thing for X many years and I still haven't gotten there. Or I've been, for the people who are single, they might be feeling that, oh my gosh, like I've been single for this many years and now I'm turning this age this year and I feel like I should have been married by now, or why can't I find that person for me? And there's all these kind of subliminal intentions that we've placed on our own life and subliminal things that we are trying to achieve, and all these pressures we're putting on ourselves to achieve things by certain ages or certain milestones. And what I've realized over the past year and a half and several years really is that we don't have to put that pressure on ourselves, that we don't have to feel the pressure that we are putting on ourselves. And oftentimes it's because we kind of seek this control over our lives. We sometimes don't see God moving. We sometimes don't see what he's up to. And so then we try to grasp for control. And we think that there's like everyone looking at us thinking like, oh my gosh, they haven't done this by this age, or they haven't accomplished that thing they said they were going to. And so we kind of put this pressure on ourselves for no reason. And so I just want to remind you that there truly is no rush. The timeline that you have likely isn't the timeline that God has for your life. And that doesn't mean to stop trying. That doesn't mean to just throw in the towel. It means to just take it day by day. Keep showing up each day. Keep dreaming with God. Keep seeking him and look to him for that daily bread. Trust him with the timeline. Trust him with the outcome. Hold your dreams loosely. As you dream with God, hold the plans that you have loosely, because scripture even talks about that we plan, but God establishes our path. And so trust him that he has good things for your life, that he wants to do good things in and through your life, that he wants to be glorified through the gifts and talents and the things that he has put in you. But most of all, he wants you to abide in him, to spend time with him, to focus on your relationship with him so that you can overflow and pour out from a place of rest and from a place of abiding and surrender versus a place of our own control and pride that we so often strive from. And just remember that Psalm 84:11 reminds us that God withholds no good thing from us. And as we trust him, he withholds no good thing from us. So I hope that this episode has just kind of been like an encouraging pep talk for you today to remind you to keep blazing the trail that God has for you. I hope it shows you kind of the heart and the heartbeat of this podcast, this show. And if this show has been beneficial to you, if you've been encouraged by this show, I would love for you to share an episode on your social media platforms, wherever you are, and share it with a friend. Send episodes to friends. Make sure you're subscribed. And if there's anything specific you want to make sure we cover in season 3 as we prepare for that, or any specific guests you want to hear from, if you know somebody, feel free to send us an email at hello@thetrailblazerjournals.com. That's our overall blog where you can find us. There's also all kinds of resources and articles if you want to visit our website, thetrailblazerjournals.com. You can also get specifically to the podcast if you want to go to thetrailblazertalkspodcast.com. But I just want to say again, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Thank you for tuning in each week and supporting this dream of mine to help others. And I hope that it's been helpful to you. I know this was a shorter episode to wrap up the season, but I am just super grateful to have the privilege to speak into your life and to be a voice that you value and listen to each week. And I'm excited to continue forging this path with you guys and continue helping you blaze your own trails. So we will see you guys back here next season.